Hey everybody, welcome to Waves and Rides, the channel where we talk all things cruising and theme parks. My name is Ryan. I'm excited for today's video. We are ranking every cruise ship I've been on. That's right everybody, in today's video we are ranking every cruise ship that I have been on. My name is Ryan. Before we jump into today's discussion, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Instagram and TikTok to keep up with everything that we're doing. So another ranking video today, we are ranking all the cruise ships that I've been on, not the cruise lines, not anything else other than the ships themselves. If you've seen my last ranking video, ranking the theme parks, we will be ranking the cruise ships that I've been on. Again, I do not dislike any of these cruise ships. They are just in order of my favorites. And this list may change over time, just like my last ranking video. This may change over time as I visit more cruise lines, as I visit more cruise ships, just over the years, over time, and this ranking, these may fluctuate, these may change or get additions to it. So let's jump right into today's rankings. Number 4 on my list comes in Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas. This one happens to be in last place as of right now. Not because I dislike the ship by any means. This ship is actually a fantastic ship. It is a massive ship. It is one of the largest cruise ships in the world. It was at the time that it was built. And it has a lot to offer. Royal Caribbean is a fantastic cruise line. Now this ship itself has a very unique layout in that there is open air in the middle. I'll say that. So the boardwalk area toward the back of the ship, the open air in the middle with the Central Park area makes a very unique cruising experience if you have not done a cruise like this before on Royal Caribbean. This open air aesthetic really opens up the space and it gives you a lot of unique room types as well. Like I said on my very first cruise video, we actually had an inside facing balcony stateroom, which is unique of course to this type of layout, having that open air in the middle. Now this ship's layout consists of also the Royal Promenade, which is a staple in Royal Caribbean. This ship also has of course numerous different pools, the surf simulator, the Ultimate Abyss slide. This ship has so many activities. It has a zip line, basketball court that you can host different sporting events at. This ship, all in all, is a fantastic ship. The only reason this one falls down a little bit is because the theme just kind of is general cruise, where Disney, of course, does theming a little bit better, as it's Disney. That's just what they do. But Royal Caribbean, this ship is a really great ship. The only drawback I would say on this ship, specifically after doing this first sailing that I've ever done on Royal Caribbean, would have to be the fact that this ship is massive, but it feels massive just because there's a lot of staterooms on there. So if you go from deck to deck, there's activities all over the place. But once you hit essentially deck 7 and 8, and going all the way up through deck about 10 is nothing but staterooms. Now a lot of ships have decks where it's just staterooms, but this one is so massive that those decks of just staterooms, if you're out and about and nobody's really hanging out in their rooms, the public spaces on this ship where people gather, where people go for different events or different activities, does seem to get a little bit crowded. Now not awful, nothing terrible, but it does seem to get a little bit crowded. Now for this particular ship, all the activities that Royal Caribbean provides, the food is fantastic. If you want to know a little bit more about the food reviews, you'll see that in my Royal Caribbean video on the channel. But the Royal Caribbean food in general is fantastic. The overall layout, I love the boardwalk area, was my probably favorite area of the ship. All in all, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas comes in at number 4 on my list, behind all the Disney ships that I've been on. Coming in at number 3 on my list is the Disney Wonder. The Disney Wonder is actually Disney's second ship that they ever sailed out of. The Disney Wonder I've been on years ago, so I have not seen the recent updates to this ship. However, from memory and kind of looking back on the cruise that I went on years ago, the Disney Wonder is a fantastic ship. If you look at Disney's older ships, They still hold up today in modern cruising. Disney does a fantastic job in upkeep on their ships, so their older ships still look fantastic, and not only are they clean, but they're well kept up as well. So any paint job that needs redone, any sort of maintenance things need to be done, they make sure that it gets taken care of, and the ship is in very tip-top shape. But looking at the ship, this layout makes sense for cruising. The atrium is a little bit small. Obviously, it's a smaller ship. But outside of just the atrium being small, this ship has fantastic restaurants. If you know Disney, it's all about the dining. It's all about the food. Their food is second to none. The restaurants on here are great. It has the original Animator's palette. It also has what used to be, whenever I went on it, was Parrot Cay. Now it's a different theme, and they changed some of these things that have not been on since then. But the layout on here just makes sense. It does not feel overcrowded. No matter where you go on the ship, it just makes sense. And if you go to the adult only area at the after hours area, it has a great layout there where you can enjoy different bars, different pubs. And then up at the pools, there's a centralized pool, there's a family pool, kids pool, and adult only pool. The layout, of course, again, just makes sense. This ship is fantastic. On here, like I said, I haven't seen the newer slides that they've added to the ship. The only slide that was there when I sailed on it years ago was just the original kids slide, or I believe it was a family slide, but it was a smaller slide. Now they've added on some of those, so I think there's 2 slides in a splash area now. So it's a little bit different than the last time I sailed on this ship, but I'm sure it still holds up and is probably even enhanced and even better than when I went on it. But this one comes in at number 3 for me. Coming in at number 2 today is the Disney Magic. This is the very first ship that Disney ever sailed in 1998. The Disney Magic I sailed on, again, just like the Wonder, years ago. I sailed on this one a long time ago, back when it was in its original shape. Again, I have not seen the modern upgrades that they've done to this ship. So again, they've added more slides. They've added and kind of rethemed restaurants and rethemed kids areas. Disney does kids areas, I'd say, better than anybody else at sea. The kids club there is fantastic. The restaurants there are fantastic. I think the Magic is a little bit better than the Wish. It's one step up for me, simply because the Magic is the original ship. Magic is the first ship that Disney ever sailed. So this ship just has a little bit of that extra little magic, if you will. This ship has the exact same layout as what the Wonder does. Of course, a few of the restaurants and a few of the different bars and areas are different themes than what is on the Wonder. But to me, this ship is fantastic. Again, the smaller of the Disney ships do not feel overcrowded at all. I want to say whenever we sailed, it was probably around 3,000 guests on this ship, and you hardly saw anybody. There's never lines to meet with the characters. The restaurants, of course, you have a rotational dining, which Disney does fantastically well. You go with your same wait staff, of course, which is a big deal. They get to know you. They get to know your preferences. And so just what they do with the cruising overall, this specific ship, again, I love the original Animator's palette that's there, where everything changes from black and white to color. So much fun to see that. In the pool area, again, you have the adult pool, you have the kids and family pool, and you have just the kid pool. And so just the way that it's set up is just a fantastic ship. Now, I do wish they did a little bit more sailings with this one. I believe the Magic and the Wonder recently have been reserved for Alaskan sailings, and even some of the shorter holiday off-season sailings, like the Halloween and Christmas time sailings. But this ship, you have to see it. It's the original Disney ship. If you have not done so yet, I highly recommend it. Disney does a fantastic job in making their ships look like classic cruise liners, with the design overall from the outside of the ship all the way down to the touches and details on the inside of the ship, and then just the amenities that they provide. The food is fantastic. Everything that they do is, of course, first class, and so I highly recommend doing these older ships on Disney before even trying out some of the newer ones, maybe. Or if you've done vice versa, by all means, you have to try these older Disney ships. This one comes in at number 2 for me. And coming in at number 1 today is the Disney Wish. The Disney Wish is the Disney Cruise Line ship that I've done the most recently. As you can see, got some amazing merch from the Disney Wish. the Disney Wish is something special. Now, I know the sister ships are starting to come out for the Wish class, like the Treasure, the Destiny, the Adventure is coming soon. I think the Adventure might be a Wish class, but the Disney Wish is fantastic. Now this one, Disney steered away from that classic cruise liner interior design. The exterior is still the same. So the classic cruise liner look with the Mickey colors on the outside of the ship, with that kind of really, really dark navy blue black color, the yellow accents, the red funnels. They kept the classic cruise design on the outside, but on the inside they completely changed around everything with the theming wise. Instead of those medium wood tones from the classic cruise liner, now the Wish is themed after Cinderella. So in the main atrium area is the Grand Hall, which is themed basically like the inside of Cinderella's castle, with the chandelier that lights up with LED lights that go all around. It is something spectacular to see. And then the theming in all the restaurants as well. You get the Marvel themed restaurant, which is super cool, and you get a show with the dinner. And then you go to the Arendelle, which is the Frozen themed restaurant. And then my favorite actually ended up being 1923, which is a restaurant there in the main Grand Hall area. You have either side that you'll go to. It's basically a split down the middle restaurant where you get one side is Roy Disney, the other side is Walt Disney. And in there is kind of themed to a very fancy Hollywood type exclusive VIP restaurant, but it has the walls and all the areas lined with history and Disney animation and kind of an ode to Disney animation. It's fantastic to see. The food there was fantastic. Now, the great thing that Disney does as well, apart from just the rotational dining, is they also do themed meals. So whatever restaurant you're in, your meal is going to be themed around that restaurant, unless it's a specific night. Again, something that Disney does well, like Pirate Night, for example. You're going to have a pirate-themed dinner. Again, another fantastic thing that Disney does. But on top of just the restaurants, this ship has a fantastic layout. It's a little different than their older ships as far as layout's concerned, but the bars, the theme, there's a Star Wars themed bar. There's a Tiana themed bar lounge area. Of course, they have the shops on board, the theater on board. Now, this one on the Wish, since it is a little bit of a slightly larger ship, what they did was split the cinema. So there's actually 2 movie theaters on board where you can watch movies, first run movies. There's a lot of really cool themed areas where they hold other activities, games, and whatnot, aside from the bars and areas, things like that. But up at the pool, what they did with the pool on the Wish class ships was they split it where there's not basically just one main pool in the family area. You still get the kid area, the adult only area, and the family area. But the family area is actually split where the pool is kind of a lot of mini pools. And so throughout that main pool deck, you get a number of different areas to where you're not crowded into one essential pool where everybody's kind of jumping into one where it essentially turns into people soup. This one is spread out to where there's a few different, I want to say about 7 miniature pools all spread out. And we had a fantastic time sitting in one of those, watching the funnel vision. Again, on every Disney ship, you have the giant screen there on the pool deck where they show Disney movies or funny videos or whatever it may be. They're always running something up there, which is always just so much fun to watch and see. But chilling out in the pool area was really cool, and we didn't seem overcrowded when I took the kids up there, just to enjoy an afternoon in the water, because everybody was so spread out with the way they had the pool set up there, and that's what I really liked. It felt, even though there's more people on the ship, it is a bigger ship. It felt as if everyone was spread out to where it felt a little bit more evenly spread than what you would see in like a main pool area. All in all, the Wish comes in at number 1 for me for a number of different reasons. But for one, the theming that they've done to these newer ships just is spectacular. The Imagineers have really outdone themselves with these newer ships. I am so excited to go on new adventures, new ships. that come not only for Disney but also for other ships with Royal Caribbean, other ships with Carnival. I'm interested to try those out. Maybe even trying out Princess Cruises or Norwegian. Who knows, MSC. I'm excited to explore what other cruise lines have to offer, what other ships have to offer. And again, which is why this list might change over time. But I do look forward to hearing from you guys. So in the comments, have you been on a cruise? What are your thoughts on the different Disney ships? What are your thoughts on the Royal Caribbean ships? And what other ships have you been on? But thank you so much for joining me today for today's ranking video. And I look forward to seeing you guys either on the waves or in the parks. Thanks so much.